Today, we are diving into something truly fascinating. We're talking about Buddhist AI. Yeah, you heard that right. We're exploring how an ancient way of thinking could be the key to building a smarter and, honestly, a better future with technology. So let's just start with a really big question. AI is everywhere, right? It's getting more and more powerful. But are we sure its fundamental way of thinking is actually good enough to handle our messy, complicated world? I mean, could it be that its logic is, well, just too simple? And this slide right here, this gets to the very heart of it. On one side, you've got the logic that runs pretty much all of our computers and AI, classical logic. Everything is either true or false, black or white. But look at the other side. This is Catuskoti Logic from Buddhist philosophy. It gives us four options, four: true, false, both, or neither. And that one little difference, well, it could change everything. Okay, so first, let's break down the problem with the way things are now. We need to talk about the rigid logic AI uses and the serious limits of living in a black and white world. The thing is, most AI today is built on a binary system. A statement is either true or it's false. That's it. There's no room for maybe or it depends. And look, that's super efficient for crunching numbers, but when that AI has to deal with real human situations, that's where the problems start. And this is what really matters. This isn't just some abstract technical problem. This binary thinking takes our complex world and flattens it out. It can lead to biased algorithms that make these really rigid decisions without understanding any of the context. And the fallout from that? It can actually make social inequality worse and even pour fuel on the fire of political polarization. Imagine that kind of AI being used in, say, international relations. Yikes. So if that black and white logic is the problem, what's the alternative? Well, this brings us to something really cool, a logic of four truths. It's an ancient system called the Catuskoti. Now, the Catuskoti, or the tetralemma, this isn't some new idea we just cooked up. It's ancient, and it was really fleshed out by this brilliant Buddhist philosopher named Nagarjuna. Instead of just two options, it says that for any idea, there are actually four possibilities. So what are these four possibilities? Okay, the first two are easy. We know these. A statement can be true, or it can be false. But this is where it gets really interesting. It could also be both true and false at the same time, or it could be neither true nor false. Think about that. It opens up this huge space for nuance, for paradox, for all the gray areas that, basically define what it means to be human. And this is not just some philosophical thought experiment. Nope. Modern logicians have actually shown that this ancient logic is totally compatible with modern computers. And here's the kicker. It allows a system, an AI, to look at two contradictory pieces of information, like two totally opposing political views, and analyze them both without just crashing or picking a side. It literally builds in flexibility. This all leads us to the idea of a Buddhist AI. But hold on, it's really important we're clear about what that actually means. This is about building an AI with compassion, and it's got nothing to do with making machines religious. Let's just get this out of the way. We are not, I repeat, not talking about teaching a robot how to meditate or believe in a god. That completely misses the entire point. What we are talking about is an engineering challenge. It's about taking these core ethical ideas from Buddha's philosophy, principles like do no harm and compassion, and actually designing them into the fundamental code, the core architecture of the AI itself. And the Thai philosopher Soraj Hangladharam puts it perfectly. The test of an ethical AI isn't whether it feels compassion. Who cares? What matters are the results. An AI is ethical if its actions and its decisions consistently lead to compassionate outcomes, outcomes that actually reduce suffering in the real world. So how in the world do you actually build something like this? Well, the concept lays out a pretty practical framework for it. They call it engineering digital trust. The whole idea is to take the famous Noble Eightfold Path from Buddhism and adapt it, not as a religious text, but as a practical design blueprint for building AI systems that we can actually trust. And you can really break this path down into three main stages. You start with ethical data design, making sure the data the AI learns from is fair and not full of garbage biases. Then you move on to building compassionate algorithms, one specifically coded to minimize harm. And finally, you wrap the whole thing in responsible governance to make sure the system is always aligned with our human values. Okay, so what's the end game here? What's the big picture goal? Because this is way more than just a cool tech project. This is about charting a whole new course for AI, a path that might actually lead us toward global understanding and maybe even peace. See, by bringing in different ways of thinking, like the Catuskoti, we start to push back on this idea that there's only one right way, this very Western, very binary way to build smart technology. We open the door for a future where tech is way more diverse and culturally intelligent. There's a powerful academic term for this, epistemological decolonization. It's a fancy phrase, but the idea is simple and profound. It's about freeing our technology and our knowledge from being dominated by a single point of view, and letting all of these other rich, brilliant traditions have a seat at the table. And that brings us to the ultimate vision. An AI built on these principles could become an incredible tool for helping different cultures understand each other. It could analyze complex global conflicts without taking sides, acting as a kind of digital mediator. And maybe, just maybe, it could be a piece of technology that actively helps us build a more peaceful and sustainable world. So we end up right back where we started, but maybe with a bit of a different perspective. It makes you wonder, right? Maybe the key to our crazy, complex technological future isn't just about more data or faster chips. Maybe it's about looking back and rediscovering the incredible wisdom of our past. What do you think?